Welcome back, guys, to the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, where last episode we ended our first day of trial with the realization that there was tea that could possibly be tested for poison at the scene of the crime, William Shamspeare having poured it into the soap molds, allowing us a break from proceedings while this was investigated as we returned to 221B Baker Street. In Sholmes' suite, we have seemingly started a new investigation phase as after talking to Sholmes and Iris, learning of his forensic science endeavors, we now head out once more. Or we could examine the guys just tippy-tapping away and see what's said from the outside observer first. Iris? That's incredible concentration, that is. I find it quite remarkable how she can focus on so many different things at once. Perhaps I should try drinking more herbal tea. Blend third from the right would be good for you, Bruno. Oh, Iris? This girl is destined for great things, I'm sure. Thought I'd examine you, and I guess we should examine Sholmes in kind. On that basis. Mr. Sholmes seems to be making funny faces at something on his desk. I thought he said he was going to come with us to Mr. Shamspeare's room. No doubt he's preparing something, Mr. Naruhodo. Something amazing. He's asleep. And he's doing it whilst asleep. Is there no limit to the man's talents? Yet. Well, with that said and done, I guess we move along. Where to first? Obviously, oh, wait a second. We don't have any exclamation mark locations to go to, so we can choose any which way we wish to go. Shall I just go down the list? After all, William Shamspeare is here, right? 22nd of February at St Bartholomews Hospital, recovery ward. Is Olive still here? What do you suppose is happening? It sounds like some sort of disturbance. Yes, I hear angry voices. Be not angry, O ample lady. Verily thou art mistaken. Mistaken my foot. You were looking at my painting. The eye of man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen. 'Twas foul indeed, the poison the mustached villain gave of me. Forgive me, lady. I wish that you died from that poison. God have mercy, ample lady, but thou seest, I have vigor still. Behold my Shamspeare dance. This looks rather ominous, doesn't it? Ah, lo, 'tis the lawyer for the land whence riseth the sun. How now? What are you doing here, Mr. Shamspeare? Marry, I do believe I am returned unto another ward. He was looking, that's what he was doing. Look at my terrible work. Eastern fellow, so darky clad. Faith, thy work in court this morning was wonderful. I do applaud thee. Oh, well, thank you. But that doesn't mean things will go so wonderfully for you tomorrow, does it? Anon, exeunt. Mr. Shamspeare might technically be the victim in this case, but there's definitely a lot more to it than that. It's very hard to pin the man down. I'm so sorry, I'm such an awful person. Ah, Miss Green, is everything all right? Oh, yes, I mean, don't worry about me. They're about to discharge me, so I must get ready to leave now. Oh, I see. We're delighted that you'll soon be well enough to go home, Miss Green. Oh dear, you're too kind. I don't deserve it. Well, I guess we want to check your painting, and you. And it seems most of the stuff is still completely and utterly perfectly checked out from what we've done in the past. So the newest thing on the list... possibly not even the painting! Can't even examine it. Everything is examined in this room, apart from you. So, are you feeling more like yourself today, Miss Green? I am. Thank you. I mean, people do recover from ordeals like this, don't they? Even people like me. Well, yes, it really was an ordeal, wasn't it? As far as I was concerned, I was just walking along in the snow one evening, minding my own business. And then, completely out of the blue, I was struck in the back by a knife and collapsed unconscious for days. Of course, when I finally woke up again yesterday, the whole business had been cleared up already. What a terrible week it's been for you. Oh no, I'm sure I'm very lucky, really. I'll look back on this fondly. Really? Anyway, I must be getting my things together now, so I'm ready to be discharged. Oh yes, of course. Sorry to take up your time when you're obviously busy. Okay, so there's not really anything to explore here at this point in time. Going down the list probably wasn't the good thing. Well, I guess maybe a certain William Shamspeare has moved on to a different locale. If he's left here, is this his room, though? Guess we could check the medical thing again, but let's go back to Mr. Shamspeare's room ourselves. So, I was about to say it's time for us to get some soap, but that soap in the thing has been moved a little bit, hasn't it? Anything else been changed around? I mean, can I examine that weird floorboard yet? Oh, hello again, Inspector Gregson. What are you doing here? Well, we were hoping to have another look around, actually. The lawyer representing the defendant has a right to examine the scene, as I'm sure you're aware. Yeah, I know the score. Oh, yes, one other thing. The soap on the ledge outside the window. Did you find it? With a tea in it? Yeah, we found it all right. And there was a small amount of tea in it, as you said. I knew it. It's with the identification section of the yard now. They're looking into it. The results should be available later today. That's wonderful news. Thank you. Pretty impressive performance in court this morning. Sorry? Nothing, forget it. Just make sure you don't disturb anything in here. Okay, he did show up, and he showed up a little later by the look of things. If you ran out of change, you wouldn't even have any light, let alone heat. For the needy, London's winters can be very harsh. That's true, but if you think about it, even the wealthy would find themselves freezing if they ran out of small change. London's winters can be very harsh for the forgetful too, then. Frankly, I'm starting to wonder if Suzuda-san and I are going to make it to spring. That's true. We don't even have a meter at Baker Street, let alone a gas stove. Look how dark the stain on the floor is underneath the meter there. Yes, from all the water dripping out after the ice coins melted as you established in court this morning. It's a very large and obvious stain, isn't it? Mr. Shamspeare must have used an awful lot of ice coins, I suppose. It was an ingenious idea, I'll give him that. That was the only new thing I could go. Hey, Gregson, do you want to speak? Are you looking for new clues, Inspector? On Lord Van Zeek's orders, yeah. Don't come back till you've got something for me, he says. Oh dear, poor you. Yeah, poor me, because we've already searched every bleeding nook and cranny in this place. I don't know what he expects, to be honest. Thank goodness for warm chips is all I can say. Well, at least he's honest. We never actually got to examine the stage. This is some sort of makeshift stage, I think, isn't it? Where does the audience sit, though, for the nightly Shakespeare performances? Actors aspiring to the great stage must practice their art, Mr. Naruhodo, with or without an audience. In fact, on a related note, perhaps you should set up a mock bench for the defense in your office. What? Then you can practice your art every single day. I'll think about it, if you promise to don a beard and play the role of the judge. Well, if that would help you achieve your goal. This I have to see. Maybe that'll end up as an escapade. This is a gas wall light, isn't it? It must be connected to a gas pipe in the wall. Gas lights? A gas stove? London really is a city of gas. But now that I think about it, Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb had an open fire on the top floor, didn't they? Oh yes, you're right. I don't recall seeing a gas stove up there. Well, I much prefer a real fire anyway. It's much cozier. And smellier. Sun never shines in this room thanks to that depressing bricked-up window. Yet, with enough determination, you can always remove the bricks to set some soap outside, can't you? That sounds like a very wise life lesson, Mr. Sato. Only if you plan to follow a life of crime, Mrs. Naruhodo. This is definitely moved. So it turns out that Mr. Shamspeare wasn't eating the soap at all. That's right, the mystery of why he had it on a plate whilst holding a fork in his hand is solved. Yes, to prise his latest ice coin out of its mold. And in the process, he accidentally broke the bar of soap in two. It certainly was hard to imagine, let alone deduce. Got the cups as well. Ah, the ill-fated teacups which two men drank on the ill-fated night. During their heated literary debate, yes. Who's stronger, Romeo or Juliet? It sounds like it was quite a discussion. Now I think of it, I'm sure that the two lovers in the play ended their lives with poison. That's fiction, Mr. Sato. Let's hope it stays that way. Oh, I still can't examine it. It's the stuff I have examined. And then the elephant in the room. Mr. Sholmes, what are you up to over there? What a question indeed! Was it not your good self who asked me to attend the scene? Oi! What are you doing here, Sholmes? What are you up to over there? What are you doing here? Dear me, once a great detective, one is always under scrutiny, it seems. Is now the time, Mr. Sholmes? Are you about to show us your forensic talents in action as you promised? With the greatest of pleasure, my dear madame. What's all this? All this is precisely what you requested, Mr. Naruhodo. Sherlock Sholmes' sensational skin print seeker gun. Why is it all guns? Moments ago, I took a sample from the teacup that was used by the victim. A sample from Mr. Shamspeare's cup. Each individual leaves microscopic secretions on everything he or she touches. A sample of those secretions is all I need to produce this, a refined indicator solution. By liberally spraying the room with this chemical, everything the victim touched is instantly revealed with the aid of these goggles. Here, try them on. There, now spray the chemical indicator about and all will be revealed. Spray? How do I do that exactly? A little press of X on the area you're interested in is all that's required. Like this. Ah, what is that stuff? It's like fog. A suspension of the chemical indicator in a pressurized gas is the most efficient way to cover a large area. That was another invention I discovered incidentally whilst I was developing this idea. As you do. Go ahead, try it, my dear fellow. We may learn something interesting about the victim's movements on the night in question. Well, there's nothing to lose, I suppose. Let's explore. Pew, pew. Oh, look at all this here. Ah, yes, interesting. A multitude of the victim's handprints. Why are there so many of them on the floor in this one spot? Oh, perhaps he had a bad fall just here. There's nothing obvious that he would have tripped over, though, is there? I wonder. Personally, I often stumble when there's nothing obvious to trip over. I think that's something only a great detective would do, Mr. Sholmes. Well, this is quite a puzzle. Handprints all over the floor. Yes, there's no obvious explanation. There is an obvious explanation. Something hidden there. So really we're looking for where there's something completely new. Look, there are dozens of handprints here. So there are, a great many indeed. So much so that it's hard to make out any one individual print, in fact. I sense a chill down my spine. Perhaps he was leaning against the wall while he admired this picture. Unlikely, I would say. It's a rather dull scene, after all. And without wishing to state the obvious, you wouldn't generally admire a picture from such close quarters, I feel. Oh, very true, Mr. Sato. It's a bit of a mystery then. Oh, we've already checked out the key locations. Well, we sprayed Mr. Sholmes' amazing skin print indicator all over this room, didn't we? Not really. We did. But there are 2 places in particular that are of interest, I would say. The handprints on the floor there. And on the wall by the picture, you mean? Yes, and I think the floor warrants closer investigation. I won't be a moment. Ah! What is it, Mr. Sato? Spiders, probably. I'd jump too. Look here, Mr. Naruhodo. One of the floorboards has popped out. One of the... You mean... It's a secret hiding place. Excellent work, Mr. Sato. So what do we have in here? Oi, what are you doing? Inspector Gregson, stand aside right this minute. It's my job to investigate there. No need, Inspector. You continue to dig into your portion of chips whilst we dig around under the floor here. Your fancy talk's put me off my food anyway, Sholmes. A new bit of evidence is exactly what I need. Wow, a secret hiding place under the floor. What a find. It's not a hiding place you could make use of in Japan. I don't think I could lift a straw tatami mat. No, I know, but I never expected one of these wooden floorboards to move either. It's got me wondering about the wall over there too. Aren't you curious? Oh! I'll investigate at once. There's nothing behind the picture, sadly. Only the wall. How disappointing. Then, how do you explain the handprints? I really can't think why anyone would have been touching the wall over and over in one place like that. There you are, a print for you. The photograph of the handprints on the wall has been entered into the court record. Oh, thank you very much. His invention can make prints too. Now then, I wonder if Inspector Gregson has found anything under the floor there. I'm desperate to know. So am I. Gregson! Gregson! Surely we can, lift up the picture. Come on, get to it, guys. I'd love to know if there's anything hidden underneath that floorboard there. Allow me to ask Gregson now. After all, we're well acquainted. Inspector Gregson! Really, it's been too long. What is it, Sholmes? I thought perhaps you might show me what you found there, seeing as we're such good friends. We're not friends. No, I suppose not. A dismal failure! Yes, I heard. I'd kill to know what was under that floorboard. Alright then, fair's fair. What? You did discover the hiding place after all. I suppose I should at least fill you in. Really, Inspector? Thank you! Do it quickly, my dear fellow! If there's one thing I know about this man, it's that he blows with the wind as fickle as the weather. Oi, stop making me out to be some kind of nut. There were 3 items on the floor there. A newspaper clipping, a photographic print, and a tin box. Now, what do you want to know? I want to know everything! Looks like this was cut out of the paper about 3 months ago. It's about a convict who got sick and died while he was serving time up in Manchester. How terrible. It made the headlines down here in London as well. The bloke had been sentenced to death, you see, but nature got him first. Oh my goodness, he'd committed a capital offence. Man by the name of Selden. Nasty piece of work, into burglaries and murder. They say the hoard he'd knocked off was worth about £1,000. A hoard? Of treasure, you mean? Jewellery and the like, but he hid it somewhere, and no one knows where, and now he's dead. Papers loved it, of course. £1,000 lost en route to hell, or some such was the headline. Does it not strike you, though? Why such an article would be so carefully ensconced under the floor? I suppose now you mention it, it does seem a bit odd. Perhaps I'll go over the paperwork we've got on sale in the back of the yard and see if I can turn anything up. The capital offender article has been entered into the court record. Photographic print next. So, this is the photograph I found. Looks reasonably decent to me, or recent. Yes, it would appear to have been taken on the street in front of the house here. And the gentleman on the left is Mr. Garadeb, the landlord, of course. But who's the young man on the right? Mr. Garadeb's son, perhaps? Perhaps. You can take that print if you like. Really? Are you sure? We can presume, therefore, that the yard already knows. The identity of the young fellow, that is. Ah, is that true? Well, it's too bad if we do. Unfortunately for you lot, leaking information isn't one of my pastimes. My dear Inspector, if I may be so bold as to point something out. Pastimes are for one's leisure, but this is for work. All the more reason I'm not telling you. A dismal failure. Yes, I heard. The hidden photograph has been entered into the court record. I wonder why a photograph like this was hidden under the floor. I mean, Mr. Shamspeare himself isn't in it. Photographic prints are still rare treasures in the East End. I imagine Mr. Garadeb was rather delighted to have been immortalized. He probably made a proud present of it. The tin box. Well, this tin box is interesting, doesn't it? Might I suggest, Inspector, that you open it? If you were to find something inside that reveals the truth behind this case, I wouldn't be in the least surprised. Yeah, funnily enough, I've already had a look. It's completely empty. What? Shamspeare! Give us a clue, man! You didn't even have the chance to utter a word, Mr. Nalahodo. But anyway, at least we found out what's inside the box. Yes, thin air. It's empty, rather like how I feel inside. Is there nothing more to this box, then? I wonder. It's Wagahai! Oh, look! It's that lovely little kitty cat! What was its name? It's Mr. Natsume's, isn't it? I don't think we ever asked him, actually. Why don't we call it, Wagahai? You know, like Mr. Natsume refers to himself in Japanese? I wonder how he got in here, clever cat. Oh, wonderful. Well then, Wagahai, here's something delicious I brought for you from the Cat's Meat Man. Cat's Meat Man? Cat's Meat Man? Feed the kitty. Yes, we should spend time animating cats. Cute. So cute. He can be happier now, look. I just hope we can bring some happiness to his owner, too. Wagahai is needing a little bit. That was a cheeky little meow, Wagahai. Probably like, you're saying my name wrong. Oh, but he's so adorable. I could sit and watch him forever. I think he may not appreciate that after a while. And we have an investigation to get back to. But no, we could watch him forever. Watch him forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and love him. Because cats are the best. Now, there's something behind here, obviously. Wouldn't you say? I guess we can't look. I want to kind of look behind this thing. This is some sort of makeshift stage, I think, isn't it? Wagahai came from there. There's got to be some kind of entrance, because he didn't come through the door. Actors aspiring to the great stage must practice hard, Mr. Naruhodo. With or without an audience, it seems to be the same as before. In fact, on a related note, perhaps you should set up a mock bench for the defense in your office. Well, I've already checked this out. We could practice art, as long as you get bearded. Okay, so we can't check anything even though Wagahai seemed to come from it, which hints at something to us. Kind of like, I guess, exactly how that floorboard hinted stuff at us. But we couldn't check it out until a certain point in time, a prompt. So, like this picture here, I guess we move on? I don't know, maybe I could examine like this picture and flip it over. Nope, 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 nope. Nope. But here we see an artist. Meanwhile, condemned criminal dies of natural causes in prison. Manchester's Strange Ways Prison announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden by natural causes in the early hours this morning. He'd been suffering with fever since the end of October. Alerted by the shouts of his fellow cellmate, medical staff arrived to find him already dead before his capital punishment could be carried out. Still had it back in them days. So we've got the handprints on the wall as well. I wonder, what was the contents of that other thing? I guess for now then, all we can do is move. I doubt there's anyone on Brea Road. Tell a lie. Oh, no, there's no one on Brea Road. I doubted there was. It turned out there was not. I was just wondering if he's looking in still, but of course he doesn't really need to at this point in time, does he? Mr. Garadeb? Sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Garadebs, but currently it's Mr. Garadebs. Mr. Garadeb appears to be out. Oh well, I suppose we'll just have to come back again later. Tells us everything we need to know there. So to the prison. We move down the list in order. That is one forlorn author. Oh, Mr. Natsume is back. So he is. Mr. Natsume, hello? I am a cat. Sorry. I don't know who Mr. Natsume is, or Hairlock Sholmes. I don't know about causal trials or Old Baileys. I am a cat. That's what I am. Just a cat. Mr. Naruhodo, he's trying to escape from reality. Trying to? He already has, completely. So, what is your name then? As yet, I have no name. Mr. Naruhodo, he hasn't fully thought out his new identity yet. Maybe it's not too late to bring him back to reality. Do you think you could open your eyes for us, Mr. Natsume? I am not a cat. It worked! He's back in the real world. What's going to become of me? No! Don't answer that! It's obvious! My accursed soul is never going to escape this accursed fate! Mr. Natsume, no! This morning's proceedings in court prove that there's hope! Yes, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire was brilliant, but... The Reaper is omnipresent in court, in my lodgings! Here, there, everywhere! What's he looking straight at me for? I think perhaps there are some things we should discuss. Oh, yes, we must! What do we have to discuss, is the question. This morning's trial. In my whole life, have I ever been so moved as I was today? No! Of course, if I cast my mind back, there were perhaps one or two other occasions that moved me more. But if I just block those out, then today, being in that courtroom was... It was the most moving experience of my life! Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! You're too kind. Scotland Yard found the remaining tea just as we deduced and are analysing it as we speak.
There's nothing wrong with that tea. They won't find a drop of poison in it. That's solemn, sworn, Soseki certainty.
Tell me, did you both drink the tea at the same time that night?
Ah, yes, most definitely. Remember, drink tea while it's hot. We both poured it down our throats like it was a hot bath for our bellies.
And at the time, you were both completely fine. As shown by the fact that he and Mr. Shamspeare then engaged in the Romeo and Juliet match. I suppose the focus of tomorrow's proceedings will be how the poison was taken by the victim then. How it was indeed. We need to find a vector. At the moment, I'm thinking gas, but there seems to be, like, odd things going on with Mr. Shamspeare's room. So we'll ask more about Mr. Shamspeare to Soseki Natsume. Natsume Soseki. Next time on The Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. Hopefully, you'll join me then for more as this trial, this case, continues. With us going back to trial, we'll see. Next time. Bye-bye.